German cars are great, except when they yell at you. Achtung! Gasoline! Seatbelt! It fucking yells at me all the time. Where do I go? After my car was done yelling at me and she showed me where I should be driving, we made it into the front of the show. And at the very beginning of where you go in, it's random cars positioned as they get there. And these are not top of the line builds. And we were early, so it wasn't full in this area. But this little blue number, that was darn close to top of the line, I can tell you. There's a lot of really cool things like this Slant 6 Dodge truck that said Norwalk, Ohio, and I think this was from the drag strip originally, and it was awesome to be able to even see it, let alone know that it exists. Parked right next to it was an amazing air ride old, what they call patina Dodge, and it's an impressive build. The thing was fantastic, and this is only the beginning. We haven't even really gotten into the thick of it yet. Take a look at this monster truck. It has rear steering. It doesn't look like it's very safe. I mean, maybe it is. But the one thing that was safe was the paint job on this silver Chevy. Man, this thing was like glass. And that was just a common theme throughout the entrance to the event, was glass smooth paint. And it's cool until you get to this rusty stuff. And if you watch the channel, you know we love the rusty stuff. This particular little Pontiac was around the same era that the Novas were popular. And I don't know how many of these were sold, but it's pretty cool. That Chevy stuff's starting to grow on me. As we turn to go into the main event, you'll see this wonderful fanfare and the buzz of the crowd. You start to feel it when you go in, and you start to hear it. Now, I'm not going to talk all the way through this. Every once in a while, well, most of the time, you'll see some of these vehicles in action, and you really need to hear them. So I'll make a few comments as we watch, but for the most part, you're going to listen to engines. And of course, I love the rat stuff, and this one was really interesting because of the way they had V8 emblazoned on the back of this thing. I don't know how they did that, but that's pretty cool.
Till I'm gone, somebody lean on.
You've got gassers everywhere you look, cool convertibles. And what's really starting to turn my head lately are these wagons. I don't know what it is about a wagon. You know, when I was young, I didn't think very much of them, but now when I look at them, there's just something to them. Look at this, another bump side, 67 through 72, I believe, short bed. These things are increasing in value every time I turn around. This one's on air ride. It's cool. I don't know that it's 22 grand cool, but you get my point. And another really cool point is this Econoline van. A buddy and I drove one of these to work for 3 years back in the 80s, and it was a really cool little 302. You know, we always wondered how we would get that engine out if we ever needed to. We never did need to. I think the last thing, it was on the road in the 90s. Who knows? It could be at this show today. Look at the chrome on this truck. The quality of this build, it just kind of takes your breath away. The amount of dedication, hours, money, that's impressive. And another thing that impressed me was this Chrysler 300, and not just because it's as big as a whale and it seats about 20. It made me think of the B-52s, but really it made me think of how I've been overlooking these cars all these years.
Yeah, it sure is. You're seeing it back there. Look through the river.
Now this guy was really excited about his dragster twin parachutes. Look at the big twin fat tires on the back of this thing. I just love those things. And the workmanship of the cage was really cool. Just like the chrome on these baby moons. I walk by them, I just gotta stare, you know.
Once again, we're still looking for Donna Bradshaw. Head on over to the DJ booth.
That is a really cool El Camino. I'm not normally a big fan of those things, but what I am a fan of increasingly are these beetles, these bugs. They're just turning into something really cool. I don't know, they're getting under my skin. I think that happens. Kind of like these 67, 72 short bed Ford trucks. I'm just deeply in love with them. Yeah, you don't talk during that part. I do want to say, my pappy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln, and it might have been that car right there. This is one of our friends' cars, a couple of our buddies there. You've seen them in other videos. They're always around. They brought this cool Woody to the show today, hoping to trade it off for something else really cool. The workmanship on the wood, staggering. What an awesome little truck. As we watched that behemoth roll into its parking spot, we also turned around the corner to the building behind us. It's filled with sand and rusty stuff. A lot of really cool things in here amongst the 80s music blaring overhead. I'll tell you, if I had the money, I would have bought that Ford. I didn't have enough money, and this one was already sold. It's an international travel-all, but again, it's got that wagon theme, and you know those are growing on me. I mean, come on, an AAR Cuda and a K5 Blazer. Then you turn around and there's a custom Studebaker. I think these were called Golden Hawks, Silver Hawks. Regardless, that, I've always wanted to all-wheel drive Hemi one of those. So we sat down to eat some scrappy trailer food and we watched the coolness roll by.
It's awesome.
Man, for a small block Chevy, that thing sounded nasty, didn't it? Look at that cab over engine truck we just saw, and this is a Suburban, both of which are awesome.
That thing's awesome. Freaking awesome. That thing's awesome.
And that was just a little taste of the autocross. One of these days I'm going to get a drone and do about an hour's worth of footage on one of those autocross races, because the way those guys set those cars up to turn corners, I think even the Europeans would be proud. Suspension. That's a cool looking truck.
It's a van.
My dad had one, just like it. Yeah, they're rear wheel drive. then the one and only Studebaker truck that I had seen all day. And you know, we have two of those. One of them's powered all-wheel drive Hemi. The other one's powered by a 2017 Mustang engine. So if you haven't seen some of the other videos, I encourage you to go back and take a look at some of the other videos on this channel. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. Some were left wondering, was that paint or patina on that wagon? And I've walked past it, so I can tell you it was in fact paint. This truck has paint that is amazing. Part of it made you feel like it was brushed nickel or brushed bronze, but the thing, everywhere you looked, it just looked immaculate. It made me think it was polished metal on an awesome plating job. They just did such a cool job with it. And another thing they've done such a cool job with, it stopped me in my tracks. Normally I'm not a fan of this kind of car, but the paint and chrome just stopped me. I looked at it and went, why have I not noticed this kind of car before? I think as I progress in building and age, I also progress in my taste. Some of this stuff, I just never knew how cool it was. I've always known how cool the International truck is. That's what got me started in building these crazy things. This one stopped me because of the reflection on the seat. You might not be able to tell, but it says Power Tour 2017 and 2018, which means that thing has done the journey, so it was built right. And this one looks like they pulled it out of a time capsule. These I remember being on the road as a kid. The one thing I don't remember as a kid, because it didn't exist yet, was the LS Swap 240 Datsun, or is it Nissan? Well, at any rate, that one was done right. And the only reason that I include this truck here is so that my European friends could tell what a big vehicle really looks like. This Corvette could be construed as a big vehicle, but over here, all it is damn fast. Now, this little foreign jobby, you didn't really see any of these because there are a little bit too much muscle going on in here, which is why I parked my little foreign jobby way the hell in the back. But to be honest, it's a stout little car. Something else that was pretty stout were these trucks on the freeway going home. These things were just so cool to watch, and to see them in action in person was an awesome, awesome day. That's gonna about wrap it up for today. And if you like what you saw, please remember to leave a like. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I encourage you to go back and take a look at some of the other videos on this channel. I think you'll be impressed with some of the crazy business that has gone on up to this point. Next, I want you to stay tuned. We've got some awesome stuff coming up for 2018. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.